What's up, my peeps? You guys know what time it is, and if you don't, it is now time for the Payback Prediction Game video. Now, it's kind of weird that I'm here doing a prediction for Payback post-Wrestlemania, because for the past 6 or 7 years, we've had Extreme Rules as the post-WrestleMania pay-per-view. It was Extreme Rules right after WrestleMania, and we've been used to having street fights, ladder matches, tables matches, no DQ type matches right after Mania. And Extreme Rules was always one of my favorite pay-per-views. Actually, maybe not one of my favorites, but I liked it. And it made for some of the better moments. I mean, you had Christian winning the World Heavyweight Championship for the first time at Extreme Rules. You had Brock Lesnar make his return to the WWE against John Cena at Extreme Rules. You had John Cena getting chokeslammed through this light thingy that exploded in the Last Man Standing match at Extreme Rules. You also had Daniel Bryan having his first and only title defense after winning the championship at WrestleMania at Extreme Rules. Basically, I like Extreme Rules. It's not that it's gone, it's still there, and actually it's going to be after Payback. It's just that looks like they're going back to the old days, or at least they're going back to the Backlash type of pay-per-view right after WrestleMania. You know, Backlash, Payback, although it's not the same name, I feel it's kind of like in the same family, where, you know, Backlash, the whole theme is like, yo, what's going to be the Backlash from this guy winning the World Heavyweight Championship? I'll tell you what the Backlash is, a rematch. And Backlash was known for being a pay-per-view of rematches. Whatever you saw at WrestleMania, you were most likely going to see it at Backlash, or a variation of it. And so Payback, you would think that it'd be the same thing, but actually we only have one rematch here, and that's Kalisto versus Ryback for the United States Championship. And honestly, I'm happy about it. I'm happy, not really happy about like Ryback versus Kalisto. It's not. I'm happy about it being some fresh new matches, because I fully expected to have mostly a card of the same matches we saw at WrestleMania, but maybe with some different stipulations. I thought we'd have Roman versus Triple H for sure, but we're actually having Roman versus AJ. Who would have thought, you know, while watching WrestleMania, that after Mania, Roman would be defending the title against AJ. I don't think anybody expected that, especially since AJ lost his match at WrestleMania. But anyways, enough about Backlash, Extreme Rules, and all that. Extreme Rules is the following pay-per-view. Let's now focus on Payback. So we've got 8 matches on the card. And as far as how you guys did in the last prediction game, nobody got every single match right, which really isn't surprising considering that at WrestleMania, they went ahead and had a bunch of surprise finishes like Charlotte retaining the Divas Championship, and Chris Jericho beating AJ Styles, and the League of Nations beating the New Day. But out of all those 3, I'd say Jericho beating AJ was the biggest surprise. And I think that's like the biggest, because I don't think anybody predicting Jericho in the prediction game. I'd have to check back, but I do know that nobody got every single match right. Anyways, I'm pretty sure somebody here this time around for Payback will get every single match right, and will get a prediction game winner. For those of you who are watching this for the first time, basically you give me your predictions for every match on the card, and if you get them all right, you get a shout out in the next prediction game videos, and that would be Extreme Rules. Let's go ahead and start this thing. So first off, we've got Kalisto versus Ryback. Now, this is the only rematch on the card, at least the only exact rematch, because some could consider Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens kind of being a rematch, I guess, because they were in the same match at WrestleMania, but that was a ladder match. It was a one-on-one match. As far as this match goes, I'm going to go with Ryback this time around. At WrestleMania, I went with Kalisto. He ended up winning, and the reason behind it was I thought Kalisto was going to win because Ryback wasn't fully heel yet. He was like slowly getting there, and I was like, you know, something's got to trigger Ryback to fully turn heel, you know, to rage and be a full heel. And so Kalisto won, and he also won by, you know, shoving Ryback headfirst into an exposed turnbuckle. And I don't know, like, that didn't get Ryback raging or anything like that. Seems like they just turned him heel afterwards. Actually, after WrestleMania, they didn't mention, like, the US Championship at all. And it was, like, forgotten for a while. And then all of the sudden, or out of nowhere, Ryback just gets booked in a one-on-one non-title match against Kalisto. He wins, and he gets a title shot that way. To me, it seems like the only reason why this rematch is taking place is so Ryback can take the title off of Kalisto. I think that's what's going to happen this Sunday, so for that, gonna go with Ryback. Following that, we've got Baron Corbin making his WWE pay-per-view debut against Dolph Ziggler. And when it comes to this one, gonna go with Baron Corbin, pretty easy here. Just letting you guys know, whenever somebody makes their debut on a pay-per-view, 98% of the time, I'm gonna go with them getting the win, because it just makes sense. I think the only time I actually did not go with the superstars that made their debut on pay-per-view was when the Shield made their debut at TLC, and boy was that a mistake, because they went ahead, they lost, and then they went on this long undefeated streak. So yeah, gonna go with Corbin on this. Probably the easiest match to predict on the card. Afterwards, we've got the finals of the tag team tournament to determine the number one contenders for the New Day's tag team championships. It's gonna be Enzo and Colin versus the Vaudevillains. Now, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I'm pretty sure that when they initially announced this tournament, maybe the first night or on SmackDown or the week after, they went ahead and said that the winners of the tournament at Payback would go on to face off against the New Day that same night. I'm pretty sure I heard that, so I'd just like to know if I wasn't the only one to hear that, or if, you know, I'm not just imagining things. Because now they haven't mentioned that at all, and usually when they don't mention it at all, it means they either change their mind or they're not sure if they're gonna do it or not. So just let me know in the comments section if they did actually say that. But at this point, since WWE.com doesn't mention that, and also recently they haven't brought that up, I'm starting to think that whoever wins this match is not going to get their championship match that same night. It's probably going to happen like the following pay-per-view. So for this match, gonna go with the Vaudevillains. And then, moving on, we've got Charlotte defending her Divas Championship against Natalya. This is another match where I actually thought it was going to be a rematch. I thought it was going to be Charlotte versus Sasha Banks, which actually wouldn't be a direct rematch, but it'd be sort of a rematch. So, Charlotte versus Natalya, this is easy. Gonna go with Charlotte retaining her Divas Championship and winning the match against Natalya. And after that, we've got Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. This, in my opinion, is one of the harder matches to predict, and I don't think it's going to end up Payback. So, I'm going to go with Kevin Owens on this, just because I think that they're going to wait until they give Sami Zayn the win over Owens. Because so far, Sami Zayn has not been KO, but KO has been Sami in the past. And I'm talking strictly WWE and, you know, NXT here. So I think they're going to hold out just a little bit longer until they give Sami the win against KO. Did I say Sami the win? Sami the win against KO. Anyways, yeah, so gonna go with KO on this. I wouldn't be surprised if they have a rematch at Extreme Rules. Actually, I'm fully expecting a rematch between the two at Extreme Rules. And then Dean Ambrose versus Chris Jericho, a match that I actually thought was going to take place at WrestleMania back when Ambrose was the Intercontinental Champion. Now, I'm going to go with Ambrose on this one, but you guys saw how they gave Jericho that surprise win at WrestleMania, so I'm not like fully, you know, putting that out the way like Ambrose is winning this 100%, but I'm pretty positive that Dean Ambrose will indeed win here. But I do think that Jericho will get a win over Ambrose at some point and that might be at Extreme Rules. But for now, Payback, one of the reasons why I'm going with Ambrose on this one is because he lost his last 3 big matches. The one at Fastlane, the triple threat, he got pinned, and then he got pinned at Roadblock against Triple H, and then he also got pinned by Brock at WrestleMania. So you could really use a win here at Payback. And moving on, we've got the IC Championship match, The Miz versus Cesaro. I'd love to see Cesaro win the title, but I feel The Miz will go ahead, score the win here, and retain his championship. And for the main event, Roman Reigns versus AJ Styles. I'm gonna go with Reigns on this one. And for more details on my Reigns versus AJ prediction, make sure to stay tuned for part 2 of this simulation, as well as my simulation for all the other matches. Now it's time for you guys to give me your predictions in the comment section below. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, you can click the like button. With that said, I'm out. See ya.